Hey, Ken.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good.
Test 1, 2.
Ready for Thanksgiving?
I think so. We actually did a turkey last week, carved it up for the church. They had a Thanksgiving thing going for some families
I don't know
on
that my
Saturday.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I like turkey.
we do too.
What's up?
I don't know that my print was any better than yours.
Oh, it looks the same to me. It looks better because you didn't get the little drag lines. It's not plugged in yet, but you have to go to here. I like to keep my desktop like nothing on it. Bridge over troubled water. Too bad I don't have my forehead tattoo. For the Rotary passwords.
Oh.
It's over here. I have a real mouse over to the side there. Oh, it's not connected? Okay. It's odd. It's muted. Nope. No video. Hi.
So quick, Colleen, I'm sorry. I need your attention for a second. You know how to share your PowerPoint?
You go to share screen?
Yep. But you have to wait until you're done with the PowerPoint.
Yes. Because once I'm in, I'm in.
Yeah. And you go to, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You just click that one. And when it goes to the
Yep.
full screen, then you do alt tab and then you share the actual.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I certainly am.
There's the song for the day. Ready for presentation. So,
It's I Will Comfort You.
well, that's the name I hung on it because nobody gave me a name. So
Okay, I just got a different one.
it's over troubled waters.
Okay.
Too,
Okay. And you are so Donna's singing this?
as I understand it, yeah.
Okay.
She wrote it, and I think she's gonna
Could I?
introduce it.
Do you want a lyric credit?
Yeah, I got credit her for the lyrics.
Okay, so she did the lyrics. Okay,
You ready
and
to
this
start?
is for Natalie.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hello. Hey, that works. All right, I'm up and running. Thank you.
Give that to her.
Perfect. I love it. Suitable for framing. Okay. Okay, I unplugged. I was doing work. Hold on, we're having trouble getting back on. Oh, there it is. Oh, interesting. What happened? That's weird. The PowerPoint does that?
So now let me see something.
All right. I should have to. Yep, I'm gonna go get mine now. We got 20 minutes till go time. Yeah, they do. It's very. They let us keep it staged like this.
Thursday isn't Thanksgiving, right? This Thursday.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Whoa, it's very good microphone today. I'm gonna have to stand back. Okay, how's this? Is this good? Can everybody hear me? So we're not starting just yet, but I wanted to point out that these riddles are very important today. The table that gets the most riddles correct will get a gift from Rosemary Duff to grace your Thanksgiving table. And we will get started at 12:25. Enjoy. Okay, you guys ready? Get ready. If you could please stand for our invocation with Ozzy, not Amber today.
Okay, repeat with me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I had my first slide mishap. Okay. So I think it's going to be, are you going to do the invocation? Okay, come on up. This time we're going to bow our heads for the invocation.
Please bow your heads if you're so inclined. Let us pause a moment from our busy day to reflect. We acknowledge the value of Rotary in our lives and the lives of so many others, near and far, locally and across oceans and continents. Not just Rotarians, but those people whose lives are touched by our efforts to do good in the world. Rotary allows us to live the truth of the interconnectedness of all human beings. As Rotarians, we contribute not only financially, but through our on-the-ground volunteer efforts. As the Rotary website says, we pour our passion, integrity, and intelligence into our projects.
That was very well said. Thank you. Okay, we already did this. All right, now we're gonna sing. I want Ozzy back to sing if he would.
I'm going to do it from here.
Oh, perfect.
My country, this is the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Okay, you may be seated. You could be seated, but we have to welcome our guest and then sing again. So if you have a guest here at the club today, if you could please stand and introduce your guest. All right, so it's just us. Oh, wait, never mind, hold on.
All right, we do have the tradition now of introducing our Zoom Rotarians that are joining us. We have Ken Manell, Kristen Bush, Vate Campbell, Bernadette Blaney, Irv Erdos, Christine Montan, Ron Parker, Sandy McDougall, and Roxanne Rostamian. And did I say Rick Greenstein already? Nope, there we go. Welcome, guys. And I guess it's Thanksgiving week.
I'm really glad the Rotarians are here online. Maybe we could sing howdy to the Rotarians online. Would you like to lead our song?
The alternative was worse, right? Howdy, we're glad to have you here. Howdy, we'll sing it loud and clear. Relax, enjoy the program, and won't you come back to see us again?
It makes me happy when we do that. Okay, so nobody sent me any member moments, but if you have one you'd like to share with the club, this is your moment to come up and tell us. All right. Okay, calendar. And I think Keith is going to join us for a little update on this too. So today we have Natalie with the Palomar Acute Rehab Institute. Next week, we have Kathleen. Oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this. Gordon, thank you. Thank you, Jan. Talking to us about the grief process. Then a very special district-wide event, and we are sponsoring one of the houses that are going to be built in Tecate on December 4th. If you'd like to participate in the house building process, talk to Johnny, or you can call direct. I'll have a slide on that in a minute. On the 7th, we have another word I'm going to butcher, Mohatla Dance Collective. Our holiday meeting is on the 14th. We're having a party at Wendy's house on the 18th. On the 19th, we are ringing bells for the Salvation Army at Major Market. We have 7 slots left to fill. So if you can come and ring bells with us that day, it's going to be a party, another party. And please talk to Wendy. Let's see here. We are off on the 21st and the 28th. And then I'm just adding this now. It's not really our club, but the Rotary International Conference is going to be in Houston, June 4th to 8th. And today is the last call for discounted admission to the conference if anybody wants to go. And now Keith's going to tell us about San Pasqual Academy.
Thank you, Colleen. This is somewhat impromptu, but I was asked so many times before lunch about the hearing for San Pasqual Academy last Friday that I asked her if I could just give a quick announcement about it. First, I want to thank all the Rotarians that were there, Alex Galinas and Johnny Watson. I don't know if there's anyone else here that was there, huh? But there were enough people there to completely fill the courtroom, and Rotary was exceptionally well represented. There were so many people there for San Pasqual Academy. Even heard the guards at the screening process at the door saying, "What's going on with San Pasqual Academy today?" No, so it was very well attended, and that was very refreshing to see so much support from Rotary. Interestingly, I have no idea what went on. No, it's partially because you really couldn't hear very well in the courtroom. There was no sound system. You couldn't hear the judge. And you were sitting pretty far away from everything. So we got kind of bits and pieces, and then I got filled in afterwards on what actually transpired. But essentially the students are suing the county and the state to change the designation of San Pasqual Academy so it can continue to receive federal funds. And it was pretty apparent to me, I think, and maybe apologies to attorneys in the room or online, but the attorneys for the state and county seem to be fairly unprepared. The attorneys for San Pasqual Academy did most of the speaking at the podium, and the state and county were saying that the students were the ones actually that were suing. And they said the students could not be there because they had to protect their privacy, because they're foster students, and because they're minors. And the judge took the time to look up the foster youth Bill of Rights. There is such a thing, and he determined that the students had a right to be there, and so he continued the hearing to December 2nd. And he's almost going to force the students, I think, to be there, or the county and the state to accept them. So the case will be continued. It'll be December 2nd, 1:30 at the Vista Courthouse. And you're all definitely invited again. We hope to have a good turnout again. So next Thursday, 1:30 in Vista. Thank you. Thank you, Colleen.
Thanks, Keith, for sharing that with us. And thank you, anybody who went. I mean, we all know and love San Pasqual Academy, and those students deserve to be able to keep their home. Okay, so this is the Project Mercy house build. There is a big goal for a bunch of houses to be built. Our club is literally sponsoring one of them with all the amenities, and it would be really cool to get a bunch of Escondido Rotarians down there to help build it. It's also a socialization event being coordinated by the district. If you want to volunteer for our club or talk to Johnny. If you want to find out more from the district level, we have Jeb Okay, so you probably saw your flyers on the table today. We are announcing our sponsor levels at this time. We have something new this year. This year, we only have 168 reserved seats. And we've already sold 22 of them. So if you would like a reserved seat for Coeur de Cuisine, please become a sponsor as soon as possible so we can make sure to have a chair at the table for you. Roxanne is going to be our sponsor chair this year. If you have any questions about sponsorships, please look her up in your little book. The food and drink team for Coeur de Cuisine are meeting at 11 a.m. on November 30th. So we're going to meet in here right before we have lunch. And we are going to get started on talking to our food and drink vendors. And this is going to be a delicate year for that. So we want to have the best team possible. So please volunteer if you can. Okay, so who's got the microphone? Oh, Andy's going to get the microphone. All right, so nobody sent me 2 truths and a lie, so I've decided to delight you all with riddles because I love them. So we have 3 Thanksgiving riddles today. If your table has the answer to all 3 riddles or close, please raise your hand. Arlene? Okay.
All right. The first one, why didn't the pilgrims tell each other their secrets in the cornfield? Because there were too many ears listening. Okay. The third one is, why is it the turkey didn't finish his dessert? Was because he really didn't like to gobble.
All right. Thank you, Arlene. Who's next? All right. Jay's got his hand up. Thank you, Arlene.
It's all good. What smells the best every Thanksgiving dinner? We said your nose. And why is it that the turkey didn't finish its dessert? Because it was the main course.
Close and close. Who's next? Anybody got another table? Have all 3? All right.
Maybe the turkey didn't finish its dessert because it was still dressing.
All right, I've got the answers for you. So I have to tell you guys that Doug and Natalie got all 3 of these. So I might have to give them one, and I might give one to each of our 2 guessing tables too. So why didn't the pilgrims tell each other their secrets in the cornfield? Because the corn had ears. What smells the best every Thanksgiving dinner? Your nose. All right, and why is it that the turkey didn't finish its dessert? Because it was already stuffed. Thank you for humoring me today, guys. Okay, so we had some interesting things with the lyrics today, but we are ready to sing our fun song to welcome Natalie to our club. So if we could.
That's okay. Okay. A little editorial comment, because when I read Natalie's bio, it spoke highly of all of her wonderful achievements in her career, but I didn't get to learn anything about her as a person. So the song I chose is the song Bridge Over Troubled Waters, because I really think it exemplifies what she has done in her career. So whenever we're ready. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your hand. When darkness comes and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me me down like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down. Sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. Oh, if you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind. Thank you.
That was so beautiful. So now Doug is going to introduce our guest.
Madam President-elect, fellow Rotarians here in Zoom land, it's my pleasure to welcome our speaker today. Natalie hails from Philadelphia, has credentials as a wife, a mother, in addition to compassion and skills. She received her Bachelor in Nursing from Albright College, a Master's in Nursing and Critical Care from University of Penn. Her initial nursing experience was as a critical care nurse. Over time, she transitioned into teaching and administration, has fortunately for us, wended her way westward some time ago. She's had various leadership roles with Tenet, Scripps, and Kindred Healthcare Systems. Most recently was lured out of retirement to assume the rather daunting task of really opening and building the Rehab Institute from the ground up. It's she'll give you all the details. What impresses, two things impress me the most. We are, and Escondido should be proud of this. Our rehab facility is probably technologically and design-wise the most advanced of any rehab facility in California. They've got just one of the things that blows me, they have an exoskeleton, kind of like one that allows people who haven't been able to stand, for instance, to stand. They have an incredible facility in terms of equipment, and we're just thrilled to have you here, Natalie.
Well, hello, everyone. I walked around and met some of you already. I like to know people's names and faces so I don't get so nervous. So thank you, Donna, for that wonderful song. I love that song. And just so you know, I'm not all about my job. I do ride motorcycles, for those of you who ride motorcycles. I'm a BMW girl myself. I have an F650. And I love to play pickleball. Is there any pickleball players out there? Oh yeah, okay, all right. So we can talk all about dinking later. So anyway, yes, I was lured out of retirement to actually start up the inpatient rehab hospital at Palomar. And I'm gonna flip through some information on that. And then at the end, I have about 8 slides that actually show you pictures of the interior for those of you who weren't able to do any tours over there. Did anybody tour the building already? We had a big open house. Some of the community came. Okay, so it'll be fun because I can show you that. So this was truly a build up. I walked it when there were no exterior walls. We did it during COVID, which was quite the effort. We actually had to build the internal walls before the external walls because the framers didn't have materials for us. So I had bathrooms completed inside, tiled, plumbed, with no exterior walls on the building, and a drop dead date of when we're going to be licensed. So it was quite the adventure to get this thing started. And I think you can all be very proud that it's in your community. This facility is really designated to be a flagship, a regional flagship for inpatient rehab. It's the second inpatient rehab hospital in California. So that was also a big lift because California doesn't really have specific regulations for rehabilitation hospitals. So we had to sort of go through some hoops with that. So I'm going to just give you a little overview. Let's see. You told me the mouse, right? Okay.
You could bring the mouse right there if you want. Grab it and then just click that button.
That one? Oh, look at that. Okay. So for those of you who don't know where we are, we're actually directly across from the Palomar Health Hospital. So if you go to the ED, hopefully you will never need to go there. But if you went to the ED at the Strata campus, you would go directly diagonally across where they're actually building the parking structure. We're right next to that. We're a 2-story building and our address is 2181 Citricata. And I put little welcome little sheets there that actually on the flip side has that information on it for the phone number if you ever need us. So we're basically a 52-bed freestanding inpatient rehab hospital. You're probably thinking, why do we need that, Natalie? Why is that a big deal? So I don't know if any of you watched KPBS. We had one of our patients, former pilot in his 70s, had a crash on his bicycle, was a bicyclist, and had a spinal cord injury and couldn't walk. He was one of our first patients to our new facility. And there's a whole story on KPBS. If you want to go on that, just, Google Palomar Health Rehab and the whole story's on there. But one of the questions his family had for me when I walked the halls and talked to all the patients and the families was, why here? Why is this so important? And I said, because we don't have to compete for resources that other hospitals have to compete for. When you have a unit of rehab inside a hospital, if that MRI scanner goes down, if that ED needs some new technology, do you think that rehab's going to get an exoskeleton or the ED is going to get what they need? The ED, right? So when we are a standalone facility, we can actually fund all those really cool equipment pieces that Doug was talking about. And we are the center of attention for rehabilitation. And that's why we're going to be the regional experts here. So we are 52 beds, all private rooms. I'm going to show you pictures of that. We have a secure brain injury unit. We have 12 beds set aside in a secure area. They have their own gym. They have their own dining room, all private rooms over there. And what that means is when you have a traumatic brain injury, you hit your head really hard, you get confused, right? You don't want to end up in restraints so that you don't hurt yourself or wander away, right? We actually have secured doors so those patients can freely move about that unit until their traumatic brain injury gets better and that they can join the regular population. So that's something that we can provide that other facilities can't. We have large gyms. We actually have an outdoor area too. I think I have a picture of that for later. And we have a transitional living apartment. That's on our first floor. And that has a bedroom, a small kitchenette, a living room. So before patients go home, they can spend the night there with a loved one who will be their caregiver perhaps. And they can try to make a dinner by themselves. They can throw a load of wash in, get ready for bed, get into the bathtub, right? And that nurse will be there or that therapist will be there in case they need any additional support before they go home. So we do that on some of the transitioning homes. So that's pretty exciting. The therapeutic courtyard has golf, basketball, any kind of surfaces you want. If you have pavers at home versus a stone driveway or whatever, we can get you prepped for that outside. And then we have specialty programs, which we're actually certified for in neuro, stroke, and spinal cord. We actually received our licensing in June, started taking patients. We're at about half capacity now. Our first floor is full, and we'll be opening our second floor going into December. And then we are, for those of you who don't know, we're a joint venture. So we are, my bio says a lot about Kindred Healthcare. I spent about 15 years with that company. We're a nationwide company in post-acute spectrum of care, behavioral health, acute rehab, long-term acute care. We are the managing partner of this venture. So we have 22 other inpatient rehab facilities that are joint ventured nationwide, and I have a map of that. We have our own license, so we're an independent hospital, and we have our own medical staff. So we do actually have physicians credentialed from Palomar Health, but we also have physicians credentialed from other systems in the area. So if you were perhaps a Scripps patient, you could come to our facility and we could have a Scripps physician follow you. And that's how we're going to actually do that outreach and be that regional hospital. Everybody know that we were joint venture? Everyone just think we were Palomar? Yeah, we're branded as Palomar, but we are actually partly kindred. So any questions on any of this? I only have a few slides, so I can open up for questions later too. Whoops. All right, this is patients that we serve, and I don't know if anybody, who knows what do you have to be admitted to an inpatient rehab? Like, why would you come? Does anybody know the difference between inpatient rehab and maybe a skilled level? Anybody want to give it a guess? This is audience participation. Yes, Colleen.
My guess is that you would need 24-hour care.
Yes. So that's good. Good. Colleen gets it. Okay. It's like riddles. Okay. So you would need, and it's not really 24-hour care more. It's more like you need 24-hour physician oversight. So we take patients that still have medical comorbidities and need maybe alterations in their medications for cardiac issues. Maybe you're still on oxygen. Maybe you're still using a CPAP at night or something like that. And you're not really ready to go home. We take those patients because we have a physician, our medical director, who can monitor that on a daily basis. So that makes us different. You also have to be able to tolerate 3 full hours of rehab. And this is not like for the faint of heart. I mean, we talk rehab, we're talking rehab. I mean, you're walking stairs, you're walking outside, you're lifting weights, you're doing all these things. 3 hours every day has to be tolerated. And then for us to keep our license, we have to have most of our patients come from these diagnostic categories. And that falls into the types of patients that we see. So bilateral joint replacements, if you know anybody who's getting bilateral joint replacements, they would actually probably benefit from a visit with us. Osteoarthritis involving 2 or more weight-bearing joints. We can do activities of daily living to help with that. RA, brain injury, we talked about, amputations, major multiple traumas. You know, when I fall off my motorcycle, I may need rehab, so I might as well build my own. And then amputation, spinal cord, and stroke. So there are some of the major patients that we actually serve. And services provided, our physiatrist, our medical director, his name is Dr. Rishi Shah, and he went to Baylor and got his fellowship in spinal cord injury, as well as he's board certified in physical medicine and rehabilitation. So he's a pretty experienced physician to have around to see all of our patients. And he actually admits patients, and then he consults with cardiology, neuropsychology, I don't know, pulmonary, whatever we need in terms of consultation to take care of patients. Then we have nursing specifically for rehab. They're certified in rehabilitation, PTOT speech therapy. We have our own nutrition services, our own registered dietitian, we have an in-house pharmacy and lab, dialysis. I'm actually working on getting that added to our license now, hoping to finish that by January. And we have respiratory case management and spiritual support. So we truly are a full functioning hospital. This is our map. This is not new. Before I took this job, I used to be the CEO down at our long-term acute care facility for about 12 years. I retired, and then I came back and I acted as a resource CEO for this division of Kindred. And I worked at Penn Medicine. I graduated from there, so I thought I'd do a little trip there. So Penn is also joint ventured. Their Lancaster Hospital with Kindred. And then down at Seton, we have a hospital down there. We have a hospital that's also joint ventured with Dignity Health in Arizona, out in the Chandler area, and then this one. So I kind of made my way around the nation, but we have hospitals all over the nation, 23 of these, 9 in development. The next one will be at UC Davis and then UC Irvine. So that's what we're doing with our joint venture platform. And this is all the cool equipment we have, and I won't go into great depths of this, but we have what's called a rehab tracker. That's an app on people's phones. So when the patients are getting therapy in the gym, they can actually, it's like a FaceTime app with the families and be part of that experience. And it actually shows vital signs and weight lifts and all that kind of stuff. It's really neat. And then we have the picture under that is a guy with an arm. That's our in motion machine. And that's for fine motor coordination for post-stroke patients or anybody with like an upper arm injury. I think we're the second hospital to have this machine. It's just extraordinary to watch somebody come in and only have gross movement and then be able to actually do things like paint a flower, fine motor on discharge, just incredible. The little man over here, this is the exoskeleton, and that's really what it looks like. They sit in a chair and then they strap on this exoskeleton. It's like an external skeleton, and the therapist can actually assist them with movement. So we had a patient, like the patient on the KPBS who wasn't able to get up. He initially got up with this and started to build those neural pathways again and do his, actually exercise his muscles. He hadn't stood up in a month. So really just cool technology that we have. And Relay is another internet system for family involvement as well. So we have lots of neat machines in there. This is just a little handful of them. And I'll show you the pictures of the gym. So these are some photos. This is our lobby when you come in. This is our dining room and our service center. So now that we're coming out of COVID, we'll be able to take patients down to the dining room and have them eat down there and get their food like a regular service. More pictures of that. This is our rooms. Each one is private. And then you can see the lift in the ceiling. We're able to take patients who are up to 1,000 pounds. That lift will hold them. We haven't had one yet, but you know, you never know. And we do have 6 bariatric rooms that have larger openings, bigger beds, specialty mattresses, specialty seating for those types of patients. This is our bathroom, and you'll notice the shower, which is like a rehab thing. There's no threshold on the shower. So we can take somebody in a wheelchair, any kind of mobility device can go directly into the shower area. And there's like a shower seat. And then down in our gym and on each unit, we have a bathtub, right and left access, and we have a threshold shower. So if you have that, when you go home, we can train you into how to take a shower when you get home with what you have. So this is our main nursing station downstairs. It's just a lovely picture. And this is just a shot of the gym. So if you can imagine how big this is, the little black dot car, that's a smart car. So you can see how long it is, right? On the left-hand side, that's the in-motion machine I spoke of. In the chairs where the exoskeleton is sitting. This techno, it's called like a techno bar. You can actually stand in front of it and we can train people if they have to lift packages or do some work in their closet. We can actually manipulate the screen to be set up like they would be at home. And then the video will actually show their muscle movement, picking up a package and putting it on a shelf. And we can see where their weakness is, and then we can adjust our exercise regime to be able to manage that. Isn't that so cool? I know. I got on it and tried to ski. It was pretty neat. So you can do all kinds of stuff with that. And then we have just the basic chairs and ellipticals and things like that. There's also 2 private therapy areas. If somebody needs wound care or something in private, we can do that as well. So our therapy courtyard. This is our putting green. This shows you a little bit about gardening area, some of the different surfaces we have. And then there's a kickball area at the very end and a picnic area. I know, right? It's so neat. Yeah. So do you have any questions for me? Yes. Oh, are we? Mm-hmm.
Immune suppressant drugs for rheumatoid arthritis patients? I know I wouldn't want to take immune suppressant drugs last year.
Yeah, no, we actually do. the wonderful thing about the Institute is that it's all private rooms and we do have all contact isolation supplies and we always wear masks. So I'm just like so excited to be with you here today because I wear a mask all day long. And we get temperature checks and we do all this great screening. So we actually take patients who are chemotherapy patients, who are on immunosuppressants for RA and for other disease, like sometimes exacerbations of MS, et cetera. We take all those patients, we monitor labs, white blood cells, take all the precautions. So we're still taking everything, even with COVID. Mhm.
So rehabilitation centers, you said that there are how many around the United States?
Well, for the Kindred joint ventures, that was the map I showed. There's 23. We were number 23. That's Michael Jordan's number. Some of you know that, right? The GOAT, greatest of all time. No, this is just joint ventured with Kindred, that there's 23. And then in California, licensed, independently licensed inpatient rehab facilities, IRFs. And that's a way of billing, a CMG category of billing. So it's different. There's only 2 of those. It's us and there's one up in the Sacramento Bay Area. Mhm. And more to come.
In Escondido and San Diego, there's a company called San Diego Brain Injury Foundation. Have you heard of that?
I have not. I've been working with the Neuro Center that's in North County.
The Rotary Club has been very helpful with this for the last probably 25 years. And what it is once you get out of the hospital, and through with what your services are, they have to find a home to live. And we have a home here in Escondido. But the group is a large group and they're in San Diego, and just look it up because I'm sure they may help you with some of the things that happen after you get out of rehab.
Yeah, that would be great to actually give to our case managers. And my case managers might be aware of that, but I can probably talk to Doug and get that information. So thank you. That's great.
Directors are elected.
Yes.
Now in this joint venture, how does that work?
Yeah.
This is a private company.
Yes.
Have you been, then you are sanctioned or employed by Palomar, the
No.
Palomar Health District? Or
No.
how, I just don't
Yeah.
understand how that works.
Sure. Yeah. Well, let me explain a little bit about how it works. So in the partnership, Kindred is the managing partner. Like I said, we own 51% of the joint venture. So it falls under Kindred Healthcare's basic license, if you will. So when we applied for a separate license as a rehabilitation hospital, we filed that under Kindred. So to the external eye, we are a privately held company. Kindred is actually being purchased currently by LifePoint. That's one of the other largest rural health community hospital systems in the United States. And we're merging actually this quarter. But Kindred will remain the brand for the next year. But that's how we did it. And that's how we do it with most partners, because a lot of our partners are nonprofit or district, similar, right? But nonprofit. So we have to have one or the other be the managing partner and own the higher percentage. And that's how all the regulatory and licensing pieces are complete.
Also, Ron, to address your question part, because I was on the board when the decisions were made. Joint venturing with a private entity enabled Palomar to have a state-of-the-art large facility and only pay half the freight. Big deal.
Right,
I mean,
right,
so
yeah.
we're really able to aim high and get, a Cadillac for Chevy price in terms of, otherwise those are other dollars that would have come out of other resources, other care programs throughout the district. And Natalie, one other comment, the presence of the car might have gone over a lot of people's heads. You
Oh
might
yes,
mention-
the smart car. So the smart car is, I don't know if I can go backwards. Oh, I'm not sure how I go backwards. Let's see. Oh, I don't know how to go backwards. Oh, there. So the smart car is actually now white. These were done before it was black, but it's white electric and it has the Palomar Health logo on it. Looks kind of trick. But yeah, having a car in the gym is huge, right? Because people have to learn how to drive again, right? It's not so much of being able to pull up your van, you know, in the parking lot. A lot of rehabs do it that way, and you get in and out of your own vehicle, and that's great. But the repetition, how do you start the vehicle? How do you use the foot pads? How do you put the brakes on? Things like that. We can make it similar in the smart car, but we can actually do some of that fine motor skill repetitively before the patient gets home. And it's just better to have it in our building than to have an exterior car. Once we get closer to discharge, then we have the family or the patient bring their own car, and we actually work with them in our circular driveway in the front. But by then they've already had a lot of repetitive exercise, and we know where we have to focus to get them to where they need to be self-sufficient. So that's great. Mhm.
I have a question. Are you guys using any virtual reality tech along with all the other tech that you seem to have incorporated?
Yeah, actually, that's what I was talking about with the techno machine that's right here in the front. It actually is virtual reality. So it actually maps the person's body as they're doing the activities, and then we can actually develop the screen to look similar to what they have in their home. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah. Any other questions for me? Sure.
Yeah, I'm just curious on the patients that are brain injury patients.
Yes.
Curious, what's the split between people victim of a stroke versus people who have an impact injury?
Well, I probably can't give you an actual percentage, but I can give you an estimate of what we're seeing today. Yeah, so our stroke population is about 25% of all the patients that we see. And with that, there is definitely cognitive deficit that we're working with. For the traumatic or the brain injury categories, we look at those sort of together, and that's about another 25% of our population. So, and right now, because we just started, we actually just put in place about 12 managed care contracts because we're independent, we have to have our own. Now that we've done that, we're actually seeing a larger amount of people who are maybe 18. We had 2 referrals just the other day on 17-year-olds. So 18 years to maybe 40 years old, we're seeing an increase just this last month in those referrals. And that's because those patients have the commercial insurances. So we're just starting to see that impact. So that will definitely skew those percentages. But for now, that's what we're seeing.
Okay, hang on one sec here.
Donna?
I do have a question for you real quick while we're, I'm seeing if anyone in the crowd wants them. So how, other than the neat tech,
yes,
how are you different from a private rehab center, or a Medicaid center, or a private for-profit rehab center?
Well, there are only, so let me just clarify the question. So there's only a few, what we call ARUs, acute rehab units, right? They're called ARUs, and we're an inpatient rehab hospital. So there's difference in licensing. Payment systems are different. We actually get paid by 2 different methodologies, depending if you're in a hospital or outside of a hospital. And then in the county, our biggest competitor right now is Tri-City. They're an ARU. And then Sharp has their own, what they're calling inpatient rehab facility, because I think they do their licensing different. So I guess the question maybe is what makes us different than them?
No, actually more, I'm thinking, again, my father in Florida, so it wasn't here. He had a kidney failure crisis, was in the hospital, got treated, and then was released to a rehab center, which we used to call nursing home.
A nursing home. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's different altogether. Yeah. So a skilled nursing facility, the patients there do not have to be able to tolerate the 3 hours of rehab. So it's less intensive. A lot of times their nurses are, well, most of the time their nurses are not certified in rehabilitation, which is a big difference. And their gyms are usually not as well equipped. In addition to that, their physicians only need to come once a week to see their patients. And they usually just do group rounds, where our physicians are on site every day and doing daily patient visits. Length of stay for us is between 10 and 12.4 days. And the length of stay for a skilled nursing facility would be 14 to 30. So our goal is to get the patients home. right? So when I talk to my liaisons that are out in the field doing assessments, my messaging to them is, we really want to take care of the patients who are able to tolerate our level of care and move to home. So our discharge to home is 94% for the last 4 months. And that's like miraculous, the types of patients that we're seeing. Where if, you know, some of the other facilities, it's important to ask them, what is your percentage to home, right? Because sometimes you'll go to an inpatient rehab facility or an ARU, and they may have 40% of their patients that then end up at a skilled level. So that tells you a little bit about their program, right? So you want to get to the one that's going to get you to home. And that's what we market. So that was my marketing hat on. Did that answer that question? Okay. Oh, okay.
Almost eliminate the need for a patient to go to a skilled nursing if they can go in there and get the help that they need.
Yes, that's what we say. And we when we look at patients and evaluate them, we actually do ask the question, you know, what is your discharge plan? Because if the family says, well, we can't handle mom or dad at home, and we're actually going to look for a skilled level after, then we would probably bypass on that admission and send the patient directly to the skilled level. But if the goal is to go home, then we will bring that patient in.
What is your average length of stay, would you say? And what's the source of funding?
Yeah, so the average length of stay, I said 10, it's actually 10.4 this month to 12.2. That's our budget number. And we've been up and down for the last 4 months with that, but that's sort of industry standard. And that depends on the group of patients you get, obviously the diagnostic category, but that's pretty good. And we started out 100% Medicare because we didn't have any contracts. But in the course of September and October, we got 12 contracts. And so now I'm running about 72% Medicare and the rest some type of commercial product. Yeah. 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 Yes.
Because we have a number of parents in the audience that,
Yes.
that Kingdom does have expertise to developing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a relationship with the Wounded Warrior Program. And actually, when I was working in Lancaster, we had a whole setup with them, and we did fundraisers and other things with that group. So we will be establishing that here. This hospital is still really in its infancy, but as we move forward, that will be part of what we do. And we're actually already talking to Pendleton about that. So. All right. Okay. Thank you for having me. All right.
All right, one more thing, Natalie, before you sit down. So this is your fun song. In printable, frameable quality. I think you'll look great
That's
in your
awesome.
office.
Yes,
So
thank you so much.
Thank you,
for
Natalie. I got one more thing before we wrap up for today. Let's see here. Okay, I got you guys a poem for Thanksgiving because I thought it would be a nice way for us to go into the holiday. So, may your stuffing be tasty. May your turkey plump. May your potatoes and gravy have not a lump. May your yams be delicious and your pies take. My eyes are getting bad, the prize. And may your Thanksgiving dinner stay off your thighs. So have a happy holiday, everybody. Okay.